Hello.
Afternoon, everybody. Today is Tuesday, April 28th, 2020. Like always, it's me, Mr. V, Mr. Myles, Miss Espinet, Miss Lori Beard, and our special guest, Mr. Conway from the NHL. Hello, everybody. Like always, we're going to start off with the Pledge of Allegiance.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Here we go. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we have a few birthday wishes going out to the world today. One for Mr. Papetti.
Woo!
And then we have Shay Eichen and William Verlin. Happy birthday to you all on this very special day. Mr. Myles, what is our quote of the day?
Well, we have a quote of the day today from a philosopher and thinker, Aristotle, that says something that you need to know. Happiness depends on ourselves. Stop looking for other people to make you happy. Make yourself happy. Be happy. All right. Thank you, Aristotle. Now to you, Miss E.
No, it makes me happy, good music. And I like to bop my head to today's song of the day, What is Love by Hathaway. We're going to dance a little bit later to that again. But in the meantime, let us learn about our person of the day. Who's it? It is Mr. Mahatma Gandhi, a symbol of nonviolent resistance. He led India's independence from England. He inspired others to fight for civil rights and freedom globally. So get inspired. Be the change you want to see in the world. Thank you very much, Mr. Myles. Back to you.
All right, we got a few announcements today. The Honor Society, National Junior Honor Society, is meeting on Thursday at 1:30 p.m. You got that, 1:30 p.m. The code is going up on the classroom page. There's also a student organization meeting tomorrow at 3 p.m. via Zoom. So check the Google Classroom for the Zoom link. Ms. Lyons and Salazar have created an E&L support check-in classroom. It's a safe space and a resource. So for you to reach out, help, or just check in, see some friendly faces, talk about life, whatever the case might be. But you can join the new Google Classroom with the code VWEPYTK. Oh, there it is. I love technology. And don't forget, LBMS radio show is now got its own YouTube channel, and it's up and running.
Wah, wah, wah.
No. Click like and subscribe.
Things we are doing things, people. If you've missed anything, go on over to our YouTube channel and check us out. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Now we're gonna go to Mr. V with our Tuesday shenanigans.
Yes, Tuesday shenanigans. Today is Superhero Tuesday. Dress up as your favorite superhero and tell us why. Like always, head on over to our Spirit Classroom page, upload some pictures, tell us why you enjoy that superhero, and let us know why they are special to you. Did anybody see those blue angels fly overhead? No, everybody
I missed it.
Yes,
I
we
missed
got a
the
few
blue
yeses
angel.
and no's. Well, I got some good news. If you go to the internet and you go to anybody's Facebook and Instagram pages, you will get some out of focus and not centered pictures of the Blue Angel flyover. So if you really, really want to kind of see them, that's always an option for you as well.
If you also, I missed the Blue Angels, but I caught a pod of about 12 dolphins on Long Beach. So I'll try and upload that to the Google Classroom.
Yeah, dolphins, nice. Lots of good things going on around the island. Speaking of good things going on around the island today, we have our very special guest today, Mr. Paul Conway, VP of Creative for the NHL, the National Hockey League. I'm gonna.
Woo!
Yes.
Hello. Oh, everybody else stopped hitting the button. Here we go. We got it. Yeah.
All right, we're good. Hi there, everybody.
Hello.
Thanks for that
How are you
welcome.
today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for the invitation to join in on this group.
Well, thank you for coming. And like always, if you guys want to ask Mr. Conway a question, please put it in the chat to me. I'll go through them and we'll ask them towards the end of the show. So one very important question I have for you is, what is the VP of Creative?
Oh, that's a great starting question here. So as VP of Creative, I am responsible and oversee the Creative Services Department. And I have a staff of 9 individuals composed of designers, production artists, some coordinators. And we are responsible for, visually communicating the NHL brand. So what does that mean? That means, creating creative content for the league. So anywhere from, business collateral, info guides for our officials, to more complex problems and jobs, creating logos for some of our events, actually all of our events, which are globally seen. So anything from the Winter Classic to an All-Star game to Stadium Series game, and even the Stanley Cup playoffs and everything in between. So the NHL draft, which the NFL just had a few days ago. We also do the draft, the combine, and our season launch, the face-off, which we call the face-off every season. So we do it all. Our department we process roughly 600 to 700 projects a year. So certainly no shortage of work. But we also rely on outside agencies and vendors to help us facilitate that workload. So we're a busy group.
Excellent. So that must have been a long, arduous process. So take me from the college process to how you became the creative arts vice president for the NHL.
Sure. So, well, I mean, it started early on, right? I was always, fond of art and drawing and architecture as a kid. I would play for hours with Lego, and I'd always be sketching, and
Lovely.
Also, always doing sports as well. So that kind of rolled into, going into college and from high school. I took a number of art classes. They had some architecture classes. I went to St. Francis Prep High School in Queens. And, from an early age, I always thought I had wanted to be an architect, but never really fully understand what was involved, from the education side. But I also took art classes as well in high school, which I loved. And then, as it came time to make a decision for school, I went to New York Institute of Technology in Old Westbury. They had a good architecture program there, and I enrolled in architecture. And started to, find my way and, started to experience what this was going to be, this career path. And it really wasn't what I anticipated or what I liked. So, it takes a little bit of a discovery process. I was fortunate to have taken design classes in high school as well. And also fortunate that New York Institute of Technology had a design program that I was able to switch into after my first year in architecture. And there's no looking back from there. It's something I really loved. That creative process, bringing your ideas and putting them out there in digital form, graphic sense, was something I really liked. So I was fortunate in that regard that I was able to transition into, the graphic arts field because the college offered it. And then, throughout college, I had some internships that, really helped define my pathway a little bit. I was fortunate enough to work for a screen printer in college that was doing sports marketing as well. I got an internship with MTV in Manhattan, back when MTV actually played music videos. Some of us can remember that. And that was exciting. That entertainment side of things was, was really great to be part of and be exposed to. And then, a couple of random design jobs here and there. I worked for an Irish newspaper in Manhattan, doing layouts, long hours, but fun. You have to be passionate about it, right? You have to be passionate about whatever you do, because you don't want just to show up and go to a job. You want to go to and be partake in something that you're passionate about, right? If you enjoy something and you're passionate about it, it's not really a job. It's, it's a way of life, right? So that's first and foremost, to find your path. And, so I was fortunate enough to have all these different, design jobs and try to understand, because there's a lot of different opportunities in the design world if you want to be a designer. And then I, got an opportunity to go work for the NFL as a production artist. They were looking for some freelancers, and I got my foot in the door there. And that was really the start of my sports design career. From there, I became a full-time employee as a production artist. I became a junior designer. Again, a lot of hours, but it was all fun along the way. And then that kind of rolled into a full-time design position. I started to go out on my own, had my own business for a while. And during that time, it's all about making relationships and connections along the way, right? So a lot of the people that I'd worked with at the NFL and various other jobs were now moving on to bigger design roles and positions. And one of those friends of mine happened to work at the NHL. So we're doing a lot of freelance work for the NHL. Back in 1998, it started. So it tells you how long I've been there. And then that eventually rolled into a full-time position where I got brought on at the NHL as a senior designer and then a design director. And then ultimately senior design director. And then I fell into, the VP role, which I'm currently in. So it was a long path, a lot of hard work, but it was great experience, right? Your knowledge base, your experience builds your knowledge base. And one thing I would tell everyone, it's, it's a lot of hard work and you got to put the time and effort into it. But if you're passionate about it, it's not so tedious, right? So, so you have to have all these experiences to really formulate what it is, what you want to do, find your path.
Is the design or the creative side of this a field that you would recommend to students, like for kids thinking who have this interest in art? Is it very competitive?
I think the design field in general is competitive. So, the sports design field, it's definitely a niche discipline within the design field, but so is packaging design or editorial layouts, right? They're all competitive. But yeah, I think it's a great, if you have the opportunity, you should definitely pursue it. If that's something that you want, you have to figure that out on your own. There are a lot of challenges and a lot of adversity along the way, but my suggestion is never give up. Always have the confidence to try new things and find out what it is you like along the way. You have to be prepared to get back up, dust off, your knees and, and keep working hard. Don't get discouraged. You're going to find, you're going to face a lot of adversity along the way, but if it's something you're passionate about, you're going to keep, moving forward.
Excellent. So how is it being an NHL hockey fan and working for the brand? Is it your dream job? Everything you thought it would be?
And more. Yeah, it's great. I'm fortunate for sure. I mean, to be a sports fan in general and to work in the sports world is very exciting. It's energetic. It's fast paced. People in the hockey world are fantastic from the bottom all the way up to the top. Everyone looks at the sport and very appreciative of everyone's effort and what goes into it, from the athletes on down to the NHL staff to the teams as well. So yeah, as a sports fan, it's great. I've been fortunate to have a career that's really been rooted in sports. So yeah, it's very cool.
It's cool. How do you think the NHL or any of the sports leagues will move forward in dealing with this pandemic? Like, do you think that we're going to play hockey, not just professionally, but like the kids too? Are they going to play it in a different way?
Gosh, if I had the answer to that, I wouldn't be working out of my garage. But, but seriously, my personal opinion. Listen, we're going through changes in every industry right now in the world. So how do we reinvent ourselves? I think the decision makers at the NHL and with our partners over at the Players Association, which is the union for the players, any decision they make is going to be rooted in safety, health, and safety. They're going to follow the guidelines of our government officials. The scientists, the doctors, and then they're going to make an educated decision based on that. So it's really a wait and see, but safety, player safety, the safety of our fans and us as employees is first and foremost. And that's what the decision is going to be rooted in. you know, I do think, you know, if you read the newspaper and you read some of the blogs, you know, there's an effort to try and get the season salvaged. They do think we can possibly restart at some point over the summer. Again, if the guidelines permit, then, you know, hopefully move into the Stanley Cup playoffs. So all things are on the table right now. There's a lot of options being considered. So yeah, we're hopeful. We're cautiously optimistic for sure.
Cool. Mr. Myles.
Okay, so being that you went from NFL to NHL, what do you think the best sports event you've ever attended is? What is the best attended event that you can recall attending?
Well, so I saw the questions before. So my sentimental answer is, you know, any sporting event that my kids are in is my favorite event.
Nice.
So getting to watch them, you know, that's where the passion is, and that's, you know, that trumps any, you know, Super Bowl or Stanley Cup playoff or anything I've ever seen. I'd rather spend my time watching my kids play. I'm sure like everyone else's family here as well. But, you know, I know people are like, come on, what's the real sporting event that you like? But, you know, I've always been a New York sports fan, but I think the one that really stands out, and obviously there's a lot of great moments in hockey, and I'm thankful, and I can name dozens of them, but one that really stands out, being a New York Yankee fan growing up, was the 1996 World Series when the Yankees beat the Atlanta Braves. They were down 2 games in that series, and then they came back to beat the Braves in 4 straight games. And that was pretty memorable. I was fortunate enough to be at every one of the home games at Yankee Stadium, but seeing them clinch the World Series at Yankee Stadium and seeing Wade Boggs ride the police horse in the outfield and Charlie Hayes making the last catch. And, you know, you think about, you know, I talk about, you know, finding your path and working hard. You know, back then, Mario Rivera wasn't even the closer. He was the setup guy for John Wetland. And then he eventually became the closer. So again, it's putting in your time, right? And following your path. But yeah, that's probably one of the biggest sports memories, events that stands out for me. And all
that was a good ticker tape parade too.
Fantastic ticker tape parade, yes. Hockey-wise, though, I think, you know, the Winter Classic we had at Notre Dame 2 years ago was great. A very iconic place. You know, it's just, you know, the history of the football team and university. That was a real special place. You know, being able to go into, you know, a very conservative school and then transform, you know, the stadium experience, right? Because what we go into these places when we plan our events and the outdoor games is it's really transforming a typical stadium, right? Notre Dame's known for football, but we're putting a hockey rink in the middle of their football field, which is not commonplace. But going in there and transforming that experience and creating, you know, a memory for our fans, it was really a special moment there, right? So that's always our objective when we go into these buildings and transform the experience. Like, you know, we really hope that the fans come away with a memory that's going to last them a lifetime.
Cool. Mr. V.
All right. I got a question coming in from Charlie. Charlie, you're on the air.
Oh, wait one second.
Hey, Charlie.
Hi. What made you so into hockey? So into?
Well, you know, I was never fortunate enough to play organized sports like a lot of you kids are doing these days, and certainly our kids. You know, we played in the schoolyard all the time. And one of the main sports so I grew up in Astoria, Queens. And we always, you know, yeah. And, you know, so we all, after school, we were outside on the street playing football, or we were in the schoolyard. And, you know, it seemed like most of the time we were playing hockey or roller hockey in the schoolyard. So, you know, I played on a lot of roller hockey teams growing up, and I loved it. And, you know, I was always a big Ranger fan. You know, the 94 Rangers.
Yeah, nobody liked that.
We're always, you know, a big favorite of mine. So I've always loved hockey. And it was just by chance, actually, I ended up working for the NHL. It was just an opportunity that presented itself after while I was working at the NFL.
We got one. Ms. Bino, hello. I like your question. Go for it.
Okay. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm just going to say I love the fact that you grew up in Queens. So did I, and I still live there.
Excellent.
And I know your school very well. I went to the middle school around the corner from St. Francis Prep. So I
Oh,
went to
okay.
IS 74 and I graduated from Cardoza.
Oh,
So anytime
fantastic.
somebody mentions Queens, I say
Yeah.
fantastic.
The whole Bayside area, right?
Absolutely. And I taught for about 10 years in Astoria. So I know exactly where you are. So that's wonderful. So just want to plug that in. But my question to you when it comes to graphic arts, what careers are you able to go into when you have a graphic arts degree? Because it is such a wide field. And also, if the students are interested, what would be the best advice that you can give them as far as what schools to look into for that particular career?
Great question. So there's a lot of good schools out there. First of all, you know, as design, like design really encompasses a lot, right?
Yes.
So there's a lot of disciplines, a lot of opportunities. So you can look around your room right now. Basically, everything needs to be designed from, you know, remote controls, right? The graphics on a remote control to the back. A designer had to lay all that out to, you know, obviously logo design, to the newspaper you read in the morning or the website you go on. All those things are designed by designers, right? It could be product design. You can have an interest in designing new inventions, right? To graphic design and even architects or fashion designers. So there's a wide array of disciplines there. And you really have to find out what it is you like to do, right? So again, going back to those experiences. But again, like at an early age, you know, I was drawing all the time, right? So I love sketching, love drawing. And that's really where it starts, no matter where you go, right? And what paths you kind of choose. But those taking art classes and having the confidence to, you know, share your ideas and explain your thoughts and the process behind it, you know, is very important. But as far as schools go, you know, there's a lot of great schools in the city and here on the island as well. It seems to be there's you know, more and more schools offering design as a major. So whether it's New York Institute of Technology or FIT in Manhattan or School of Visual Arts or Pratt or Parsons or the New School, there's a ton of them out there. So, you know, whether you want to stay local, if that's your goal, or you want to go somewhere, you know, to, you know, South Carolina Art Institute or SCAD or, you know, RISD, there's a lot of great schools out there. So I can't really say, you know, specifically which one is better than the next. It really depends on you as a student, you as an individual, and finding that right fit.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. I got another one coming in from Miss Mealy. Hello.
Yes, Miss Mealy.
Hi.
Hi there.
Hi, Zoe's dad. I want to know, do you have to necessarily be good at drawing to be a graphic designer? Because I don't consider myself good at drawing per se. So, but it always interests me, the whole graphic design aspect.
Yeah, I think it's very important. Are there designers out there that are maybe not great sketch artists or good at drawing? Yeah, I would say there are, but I always find the best, you know, so it's process based, right? We're doing, you know, complex logos and creating these identity and brand systems. So you really, if you can sketch your idea out, you know, the design process, right? We can get into that a little bit. You know, it's the research and discovery phase, right? So if I'm asking you to design a logo for the Winter Classic, you know, in Texas, down in Dallas, you know, the first thing, you know, you shouldn't even be sitting in front of the computer and then trying to come up and draw a logo right away. You have to do the research first. You have to really understand the geography, the territory, the region, some of the attributes from that city before you even put pen to paper, right? So then you want to kind of take those ideas and distill them down and think about, you know, visually what can be executed to really convey that in a simple, succinct graphic, right? So, so I always find some of the best work comes from people who sketch their ideas out first, because otherwise you're staring at the screen sometimes and you're hoping the computer is going to do the work for you. So process-based wise, yeah, I feel it's very important to be able to sketch your ideas out, and that's just a natural progression in that process. Because then once you get the ideas, your sketches down, then you bring that onto the computer, and we call it digitizing, and you start rendering it on the computer, whether you're using Illustrator, Photoshop, or whatever other programs you might be using. Most of the logos are created in Illustrator, it's a vector-based program. And then your ideas start coming, into form, start layering in the textures and whatnot. But yeah,
So it's about the
very
idea
critical.
about it first, like coming up with the idea.
Come up with the idea first.
in your head, and
Right.
then getting it down. Right.
100%.
Wow, that takes a lot of work. It's very impressive.
There, and listen, some of our production guys, our production team, who have great careers as well, they're not design. I mean, they could be designers on some level, but a lot of what they'll do is take the ideas that our designers are working on, that will work with them, and they'll help, start illustrating that. And it's because some of them just they're happy problem solving from a production side, and they don't want to have the burden or the stress, whatever, to come up with these creative ideas, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
like whether you're an artist or whether you're a writer, everyone goes through that creative block, and sometimes it's just you have to, keep finding a way to, stay fresh with your ideas, and a lot of that is rooted in doing the legwork, doing the research and development.
Cool. Awesome.
Thank you for the question. All right. Any other questions out there? No?
All right.
Mr.
Charlie?
Conway, thank you for coming on. This was very awesome to have you on and answer these questions for us.
Oh, it's a pleasure being here. And just remember, follow your dreams, guys.
Woo.
And practice. Practice.
Yeah, and keep, and don't get discouraged. That's the big thing too, right? You have to have a lot of failure before you find success. So, you'll keep pressing forward. And if you're passionate about something, you'll find that passion. So just keep pushing forward and believe in yourself.
Awesome. Awesome advice.
Guys, stay safe,
Excellent.
stay healthy. Thanks for the invite. Really enjoyed doing this. And hopefully we can do it again in the future.
Yeah,
Yes.
Totally. Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
so
being
much.
on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
We got plugs for the coming week. Wednesday, our very own Mr. Biesma is coming on. That's tomorrow. Come on in if you want to catch an interview with him. Yeah, he looks so excited. Yep. Thursday, we got Debbie Minerva, copy editor, Random House Children's Books at Penguin Random House Publishing. So we got our super awesome publisher coming on Thursday. And then again, we have a book recommendation coming by Miss Hopper on Friday. So that is the rest of the week. Make sure you tune in every day at 2:40 p.m. We are also on a YouTube channel, LBMS Radio Show. Look it up on YouTube. You can catch all the shows that you missed or some of your favorite ones. So don't forget, everybody, stay home.
Stay safe.
Be healthy, and remember,
We're all
We're all
together.
We're all together. We're all doing things.
Well, two of us are definitely together.
That's the show, everybody. Enjoy the rest of this beautiful day.
And it is beautiful.